Just leaving the Pleasant Creek trailhead behind us. And for tonight, Jessica is going to join me. What's different about tonight's hike is going to be, instead of going down Pleasant Creek like I did last night, we're going to go upstream and go explore up there. We've got a couple potential sites marked out on a map that we'll pick the better of the two. They're not too far away from each other. But yeah, excited. Should be pretty up there too. And Jessica's excited to try out backpacking because she is like 3.5 months pregnant here. So this is her first time backpacking while pregnant. It's only 3.5, 4 miles. So be pretty easy going and mellow through most of it. Just walking alongside the creek once we get off this road here in a bit. And it's just up a nice mellow canyon. At least that's what I think. I've never been up here before, so it can always prove to be drastically different, like the route I did last night this morning. It was way more strenuous than I had anticipated. So I'm pretty beat, actually. Usually 3.5, 4 miles, pretty easy, like really easy. But I was exhausted finishing out at Capitol Gorge back there. So anyways, feeling a little bit more refreshed now after eating, drinking up in the car. Go for it. Oh, there's the fish. There's fish down here. There's some little trout or fish swimming around down in here. Some sort of old mine right there or something. An up close look at it. Whatever it was. Something for storage. Didn't go very far though. So we just crossed the boundary for Capitol Reef. We have now exited the park and are in a plot of state trust land, I believe. We'll go through here for a little bit and then hopefully pop out in Dixie National Forest in the next half hour or so. Alright, well, as you can see, we made it to our campsite for the night. This is a spot, my first choice, that I marked out on the map, and fortunately it's available. Honestly, we have not seen anyone the whole hike except right when we started, back near the trailhead. It is really quiet out here and really peaceful, and just the way we like it. Beautiful. And quick little story. When we got to camp here, we would have been set up a while ago, but I did a no-no. I left the tent poles to our tent back in our car. I usually pack those separately, and so used to using my trekking poles with my tarp tent. I did not think of the other poles for our REI half dome over here. So I improvised. Luckily, I had a paracord bracelet on, and I ripped that up and pulled out the little strings, and hopefully they're strong enough to hold through the night. It's really calm up here. Haven't felt any breezes, so I hope it stays that way all night. But yeah, it is not the prettiest thing by any means, but it should definitely be functional. Just enough headroom to get us in there. By the way, we are on Forest Service land here, Dixie National Forest, so we can do a campfire. We can't do that out that way back in the national park boundary, but we're totally legal here. Alright, well, we are tucked away in bed here. The tent is holding up. So far, so good. Seems like it's going to be a real calm night. Doesn't seem to be any kind of breeze. Hopefully it stays that way. and we're just gonna sleep under the stars. That's gonna do it for tonight. Good night. It's day 3 of this 3-day Memorial Day trip. Jessica and I had quite a cold night last night. It got down into the 30s. I should have brought my blue 20-degree down sleeping bag. I would have been much warmer. Instead, because I was so much warmer and actually sweating with the blue down bag on me the previous night up in Capitol Reef, I swapped it out for my 40-degree synthetic bag that's a lot thinner, takes up a lot less space in the pack, and weighs just a little bit less as well. So I got those nights switched around. Should have taken the bag I used last night for the prior night, and then my down bag, for last night. But oh well. I figured we would be lower elevation here too, and doesn't seem to have made a difference. It just got colder last night. So we've been hanging out here by the fire, morning campfire, and getting warm, waiting for the sun to hit us, which it's just barely starting to creep in on us now. We've had breakfast, and in the next few minutes I think we're gonna get all loaded up and go explore Pleasant Creek and even Tantalus Creek here a little bit. There's some cool slot canyon type, small little slot canyon with some waterfalls further up Pleasant Creek here. So we'll go explore that a little bit, and then we'll come back and break camp. So this has been kind of a creepy campsite. There's a lot of skeletal remains around. A jawbone, kind of a skull there, a leg bone. This is cool up in here. Nice shady campsite. Quite a few campsites up in here. This spot is accessible by ATV. Four-wheelers down here. We're back at our camp after exploring further up the creek here and checking out the nice little slot canyon down there. Really cool area up there. But now we're gonna set sail back down for our car. It's been a relaxing little stay here, except for the cold part in the middle of the night, in the morning. But yeah, nice little, I think it was probably a cattle ranching campsite or something, but worked out okay, except for all the creepy skeletal remains of some animal laying around the campsite. So on we go, back to the car, back down Pleasant Creek. think what we're on right now is a trail, but it's not. It's just a little dry wash. It is not a trail on any maps. Seriously, this water feels warmer than way warmer than it did further upstream. We just crossed over the boundary and now we're back into Capitol Reef National Park. We are closing in on our car here. I'd say under a mile to go at this point. It's Memorial Day and our car is all alone down here in a national park. How does that happen? Hold on. Woo! Couple gear thoughts about this trip. One, these black diamond trekking pole tips, these rubber tips, are amazing out here in the desert on the slick rock and elsewhere. They grip the slick rock really well, and they prevent the poles from going too deep into the soft sand and all that. So I would highly recommend these. It also protects the slick rock from the carbide tips, and it protects the carbide tips from getting all dull. So definitely glad I'm using these. These are really awesome out here in this desert stuff. Second thing is, always remember your tent poles if your tent requires them, because yeah, like I said last night, we left ours at the car. Glad to be back at the car now. Gonna drink up some Gatorade and then head back up into Torrey, meet up with the kids and Jessica's parents, and then probably go out for some ice cream. The kids want to play some water games, so we're gonna go hang out and chill with the kids and play with them for a while. Did you have any favorite parts about this trip from last night?
I don't know, getting to camp is just always the best part. You don't have to carry your pack anymore.
What was the prettiest thing you saw, or the prettiest part you saw?
I don't know, I liked when we got to camp and there was the green field with the little mini waterfall. It was pretty.
I think my favorite part, well, I'll go with the first night trip. Going down Pleasant Creek behind us, the lower Pleasant Creek, that was pretty in its own way. Petroglyphs were really cool. The Fremont Indian cave, little not quite ruin, but some cave dwelling area was pretty cool. But I think the most scenic part for the first night's trip was the loop that I did, was going up the wash with all the potholes, or the slick rock up to Gainlet Ridge and where I was camped at. That was beautiful. And then the side of the canyon that overlooked down into Capitol Gorge, that was just really high up off the bottom of the gorge there. That was some incredible views there too. And you know, the tanks and all that in Capitol Gorge was cool too, but there was like 1 million people there too. Then for this last night's trip, I think the prettiest part was a toss-up between the actual Pleasant Creek part before we got to our campsite, going through all the little narrows and whatnot down in there, just as it carves through the sandstones, really pretty. Kind of reminded me of Coyote Gulch, just didn't have the natural bridge or the big arch in there. And then the other cool part was just a little short little small slot canyon that we found this morning. that we hiked up to from our camp and back. That was really a neat little area.